Hello YouTube, welcome back to the layout. Sorry it has been forever since I posted a video of an update. I don't even know what update this video is, so we'll just guess a number. I do apologize once again for taking so long. It has been a crazy summer. As you know, I don't know if I mentioned before in any of the other videos, but I'm a groundskeeper by trade, landscaper, and we have been extremely busy this summer. And I haven't had much time to get down here this summer. But I've had some requests. Some of you guys wanted to know how I did my bench work and how I did my road bed with the Homasote spline. And we'll go ahead and get into it, and I'll show you how I've done all of that. So right here, I got a couple pieces of scrap Homasote here. What you do is you go to your hardware store. I'm not sure which hardware store would carry this in your area, but this is Homasote. Comes in 4x8 sheets, and if you have a table saw, you rip them. What I do is I rip a 4x8 sheet into 2-inch wide strips like this. It's kind of hard to do with one hand, but bear with me. So you rip them up into 2-inch wide strips like this, and they're half inch thick. And so after you get your 8-foot spline pieces, there's some full lengths right here that I got laying here. Once you get your full pieces done like that, then you can go ahead and start doing your row bed. And here's how I did my risers right here. Okay, right here we have the riser right here, mounted in the bench work. This is just 1x4 bench work that I did. Got your riser, half-inch piece of plywood, like 4 inches by 4 inches or something like that, not exact to be measured. And oh look, I burnt myself soldering, but anyhow. So yeah, there's my riser with the plywood mounted on top of the riser, screwed down into that. And then you take your spline road bed, and then you want to off-center it. What I mean by that is you want to stagger it. Yeah, that's what I meant, staggering, I'm sorry. Stagger your pieces like this. Again, hard to do with one hand. And then you'll start the next piece here, so then your joints won't all be in one place like it is here. The reason why I did it like this here is because I'm going to put a bridge right here, so that's where my bridge will mount onto and go across here like so. And so that's why I stubbed it off right there like that. But if you were to go about your whole main line like I did here, and I'll just go back here and show you what a finished road bed looks like. And here's what you do. You take 7, for a double track main line, you got to use 7 strips screwed in together, you know, like 1.25-inch screws or whatever they are. Here, I got some here. Yeah, you use these drywall screws, 1.25 inch. I don't even know if that's even 1.25 inch, but well, you get the picture. So I use these, screw these spline pieces together. And then once you get them screwed together, and you can see they make a real nice curve all the way around over to there. And and then once you get them all screwed together, you go ahead and sand it down, sand the top of the surface down nice and smooth, because this is what your track will be tacked down onto directly. And see, I already have some track installed here. Again, the only thing that's underneath this track right now is just this Homasote right here. So you don't need no cork or nothing like that. And it's just cheaper to just get the Homasote, make your sub road bed, and just lay your track down dirt on top of that. So that's why I chose to do this method like that. So that's how this stuff works. And I'll take you guys over here to the other side of the layout and show you a better view of what the curves will look like. You have to excuse the mess down here. It's hard to do construction and keep it tidy at the same time. Here's where I started building my bench work. And this was the actual first section of the layout that I started building. You can see we got nice, smooth, gradual curves. I got some plywood sub-row bed here because I had a hard time getting my Homasote to bend in these curves. So I just cut out a sheet of plywood for that curve. I don't even know what the radius is on that. I mentioned that in the other video. But anyhow, so this is what the finished, you know, sub road bed, the road bed, and the track. This is what it all looks like after it's all done. and I got a Walther's bridge here, and this is how I joined my bridge to the Homosote. I just put a riser like this right in front of the Homosote right there, and then set the end of my bridge right on top of that riser there like that. And then this riser here is actually holding up the Homosote with the plywood up underneath. And it comes along here, nice gradual curve. And I got my switches here, like a little switch point right here for crossover, right there. So anyhow, that's, you know, how this stuff works. And I really like how it works. It's really easy to do, but it is really dusty whenever you use the table saw to rip your 4x8 sheets. So use lots of ventilation and dust to mask, or do it outside if you have to. It's even better. Here's what a spline looks like. This is 8 foot long right here. You see it's really it flexes really nice, and then you just, whenever you want to do a curve, you just bend it like that, and then you start your get up there. Anyhow, you start your other piece right here in the middle of this one. So like if this is standing up on its end like that, you would start a piece here in the middle and then continue on and stagger them. And that way you don't have them, your whole joint in place, because that's how you make your curves without snapping your spline. So if you stagger them, you have a less of a chance of snapping your spline if you stagger them. So I know, I'm sorry I keep repeating myself. I'm just not really good at doing this kind of stuff. But thank you guys for subscribing. Thanks for bearing with me. Thanks for your interest. And oh, and another thing I started doing this summer, like I said, I haven't spent much time down here, but I was able to get some bus wires running under here. I got my feeders down here, and I still had to connect my feeders to the bus wire, but I just wanted to go ahead and get all my feeders and soldered to my track, and then whenever I get the money to get more Homosote, I can continue on laying the rest of the track and get this thing going. So I'm on hold right now until I get the money to get more material. So in the meantime, I've just been working on some wiring, because I had to do something. I couldn't just sit around and wait till the funds come in. So I just went ahead and started doing the wiring process, even though all the track isn't laid yet. And so that's what I got going on so far. And again, the bench work is just basic open grade construction. And I got 1x1. I just used like these 1x1 legs right here, and sturdy enough. And this is gonna be my industrial yard right here on this side. Maybe like have a feed mill right here, or maybe some kind of quarry over there in that corner. I have no idea what I'm gonna be doing yet. We'll see. Only the good Lord knows once we get to that point. And this big where am I at? This big return loop right here comes around. The main line will come around like that, and all this here in the middle will be like my main city scene. I'm gonna have a big city display on my layout, so this is where that's gonna take place. And then coming around over here, this is what I got done so far in my main yard terminal. And got my yard throat right here, the ladder going, and I think, let's see, these two outer tracks right here, this is going to be your main line. That's going to come up against that other main line there, and that's how it's going to just come around like this and continue on and go that way. And this is all be the yard in here. So I'm not sure how many tracks we got going there for the yard. We got one. This will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 track yard. I'm hoping to try to make it bigger, wider, with more tracks. I don't know how I can get my turnouts to fit in there, but we'll see what happens whenever the time comes. And this is where I ran out of Homosote. This is part of a 4x8 sheet I just cut out and laid it here. This is what I had left over, so I just laid it here to see what it would look like in my main yard. And you know, if you're doing a big yard area, just get your 4x8 sheet, lay it down like this flat, and then you take your track and spike it down directly on top of that, like how I have it here. And that worked for me. And you know, the track nails hold it in nice and sturdy. You don't have to really glue it or nothing. You just put your track nail down into that and it'll hold it in place, keep it curves. And this is all Atlas Code 100 Flex Track, and those track nails really holds it in place nicely. And that's what we got going on. Another view of my O scale collection. Even though my layout is HO scale, I acquired a big O scale collection. Half of that I think is brass from Sunset Models, and some from MTH, Lionel. I don't even know who all else is up there, but I figured that would add a nice touch to my train room. So that's why I put all that up there so everybody can see all my trains. And alright, I'll stop jabbering, guys. Thank you so much for bearing with me. I do apologize whenever I start rambling. I just keep repeating myself. Like I said, I'm not good at doing these. I don't have any editing software. I just put these up on YouTube and say, you know what, heck with it, share it with the world. I am who I am, and this is what I do. So thanks for watching, guys. Come back and see me soon.